All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 5 of CenterCourt NBA. With me, this is the live interactive podcast. If you're not watching this live, thank you for going to our YouTube channel. Feel free to like or subscribe to us. As well, our Twitter descriptions will be in the bio below. And with me, as always, we have Leroy Eve and Chris Berger. Gentlemen, good morning. It's a pleasure to have you guys back on. How's everybody doing this morning?
Tired, usual.
Yeah, usual.
Feeling good though.
I hear you. So we're gonna start off. We had the OKC Thunder had a busy week this week. They've been they played the Warriors on Saturday. They played the Clippers on Wednesday, and they played the Warriors again the other night on Thursday. And they caught 3 L's.
3 L's.
Prior to that, they caught the L to the Pelicans. They caught an L against the Pacers at home, and they caught a 20-point L at home to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Is it time? Can we officially put a tombstone next to OKC and title contenders? Can we put that now in the same spot?
I think they'll make the playoffs still, but title contenders, yeah, it's out.
Now it's going to be a playoff team, Leroy. They're top 4 in the division.
Hey, you never know.
If they get hot at the right time, though, they're still dangerous in the playoffs, especially once you get in, you're in. And, the first round's going to be a breeze for them as long as they don't drop too far out of these top 4 seeds. And they still got Durant and Westbrook. But it's amazing how right during the All-Star break, we're talking about how they were 20-2 since Christmas and they were on a roll. And since the All-Star break, they've just fallen apart. It's not the same team anymore.
I just find it funny how they had that great stretch, from Christmas, and actually it was more so from November when they got Durant back and healthy. And there was all the talk of that last game, not Saturday, the game prior to that. I know, Leo, you mentioned it where OKC had just lost. They could have pulled that one out late, but they couldn't. And Durant gave that, okay, we got you. We know how to do you. But since the All-Star break, this team doesn't even look the same as that team that we saw. We saw prior to the All-Star break, a Thunder looking really well. And since that All-Star break, you had more rumors, I feel like, about Durant's offseason during the All-Star break. And I feel like since a lot of the rumors came out, have you seen the change in play? You've seen the style change. They added Randy Foye, and he hasn't really touched the court much, so it was another move that we thought would benefit them, but they aren't utilizing it to the best of their ability, I would say. And you're still just watching ISO basketball. You're watching Durant and Durant and Westbrook chuck up 25 plus shots a game, and you're not going to win. I know. And I think. Clearly they're not contenders. The other night you're up by 23 against the Clippers, and you blow that lead. I'm sorry, title contenders. You don't blow 23-point leads.
Their last 3 games, just take a look at those. The first game they're up late on the Warriors. All Durant has to do is hold onto that ball and make the free throws. The game's over. The Clippers, they're up 23 points. Man, all you gotta do is play even with them. You can play a little worse than them. You can't lose that game. And then again, the other night, they take a 1-point lead against the Warriors in the fourth quarter, and they get blown out 32-20 in the fourth quarter, and it's another double-digit loss.
It was that last game, Thursday game. You saw Westbrook when he's not shooting well. Jesus, man, does he not understand that he needs to stop shooting?
No, he just chucks it up more.
Throwing it up, and I get it that shooters have to shoot. Shooters have to see the ball go through the hoop.
But I don't see him as a shooter, though.
Yeah,
I've never saw him as a shooter. Never.
Right, but he's not a shooter.
Streaky, but he's not one of those streaky shooters.
He's been an efficient shooter.
Yeah.
When he takes good shots, it's with him. It's all about shot selection.
Right.
He's capable of making any shot on the court. His decision making at times is just terrible. He doesn't know when he should kick it and when he should shoot it.
Right. Against that Warriors team, there was too many times where he ran up the court and he did his pull-up jump shot. He utilizes that shot. It's one of his best shots. but like it's a close game, and you can't give up quick free possessions like that to the Warriors. You can't give them extra possessions. You got to drag out the play clock. You have to play half-court sets. I don't think the Thunder can play half-court sets.
You can't rush a shot in the first 7 seconds of a shot clock if it's not, a wide open guaranteed basket.
Especially like the Warriors.
You can do it through 3 quarters, but once you're in the fourth quarter and it's a close game in the last 5 minutes, you can't take those type of shots. And as the point guard, the superstar of that team, he has to know when it's time to do that and when it's time to turn it off.
And we've seen him numerous occasions. He just doesn't.
Well, I mean, I think the problem even starts with, after the loss the other day, the coach, Billy Donovan, said they have an identity. He didn't exactly say they have an identity crisis, but he says we have to figure out what type of team we want to be. Mm-hmm. He goes, we can't figure out what type of player we want to be. We can't figure out what type of Westbrook or Durant. We have to figure out what type of team. If we want to play like this, we're not going anywhere. If we want to play like a team, we might be able to do something. But right now, they have no idea who they are.
It's mainly because of I think it's going to segue into the next topic. You lean too much on the Durant and Westbrook part of your team. Like, obviously, your superstars lead the way. But, on those, for example, those Miami teams, obviously LeBron, Wade, and Bosh were the big three. But you had pieces, Shane Battier the first year, Ray Allen, you had Chalmers, you had Bird,
Cole.
You had Cole. You had key role players who were vital to the success of those Miami teams. Vital. And this Thunder team, you don't see that. You don't see anyone really as a vital piece. I mean, yes, Kantar, he's pretty vital off that bench unit. He gives them solid scoring down low. Ibaka's having the worst year of his career, if you look at it from a statistical standpoint. But, it doesn't work. Durant and Westbrook can't coexist anymore. I think it's becoming more and more clear to Durant following the last press conference he had after the Warrior game.
I think even though we're talking about the key pieces, I think their offense is a problem. Like, when they have an off night or, like, those two are having, like, their night where they go back and forth, there's no flow. I mean, the other night they still scored 106 points. So the offense isn't the problem. These guys just aren't playing any defense either.
But it's not a good offensive system. For example,
it's not great, but they're not struggling to score. I mean, they're still scoring enough points to win games, but they're not playing the defense they need to win games.
The other night against Golden State, for example, they scored 4 points down the stretch?
Yeah.
I mean, they got outscored by over 10 points in the fourth quarter. So
right. And the same thing happened against the Clippers game. They couldn't score late as well. Because what you think about is, if you're an opposing team, you're going against OKC in the fourth. You go, okay, I'm going to double up Durant, or I'm going to double team Westbrook, or I'm going to put added pressure on those two guys.
You're going to anytime they touch the ball, you're going to send help and try to trap them. And you're saying I'm going to let anybody else in this team beat me if they can.
Precisely. And because those guys don't get enough touches throughout the game, none of them are hot. None of them are feeling their shot. And when for example, you're telling me that Kyle Singler or whatever catches the ball in the fourth quarter, they're down by 4, Durant and Westbrook can't score, and he's going to feel confident taking a shot? Hell no.
Never.
He's looking to pass it right back to him.
Taking that shot.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this team right now is
they don't use everybody.
They're hot in the fourth quarter. If Durant or Westbrook slow up, the role players all lose their confidence because they don't take enough shots.
And I think it's like that ISO basketball works, or something like the analysts call hero ball. It works to a certain extent. Like, if you have a mismatch or you're feeling it, it works for certain circumstances. But Durant can make any shot Westbrook can. But when you're taking difficult shots, when you're playing one-on-one, eventually you're just not going to make them. You can't just pull up in somebody's face every single time and expect to make the shot. And especially when you're playing like that through 3 quarters, I just think their legs are tired by the fourth quarter. So no, I don't think they're always taking bad shots. They're taking shots they normally take. But once you play 30-something minutes, your legs aren't there anymore.
Right. And it's hard for a player. I mean, we've seen Durant in money time be one of the best ever in money time. But there's certain times where you got to know, he's trying to dig deep, and he doesn't have enough. And that's why I think lately we've seen him make so many key mistakes late in games. Because he's had to carry the team so long. Okay, if you're carrying a team for 3 quarters, you're bound to start making mistakes. I don't care who you are. No one is perfect every night. No one is perfect every night. So then, Durant made those 2 key mistakes late against the Warriors on Saturday. But you had to think about they wouldn't have even been in that game if it wasn't for Durant.
He went 3 for 3 with Curry down the stretch there. But, the one thing I saw is that, what the guy like that, when it's in the crunch time, the adrenaline starts going, but his legs aren't there. But when you're a defender, you're like, I got to stop this guy. And you get in, and if he just hits the ball out there a little bit, which is what I saw in that last Warriors game, Iguodala was getting right up under Durant's skin. He was deflecting balls off of him. He was getting in his skin, causing turnovers. He had 9 turnovers in that game. When's the last time you saw Durant have 9 turnovers in a game?
It's unheard of.
And the night before that, Westbrook had, I think, 9. And the game before that, Durant had 7 again. And a lot of them are coming in the fourth quarter. These guys have had one of them in the last 3 games they've blown have had over 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter.
It's just it's a sign of the Thunder clearly not being contenders. But that is it panic time now for OKC and Kevin Durant? Is this panic time? Because in my eyes, Durant, I'm looking around and I go, yeah, this is the writing on the wall for me and OKC. That we're never going to be more than this.
This is the end of Durant and Westbrook together. There's no doubt about it. It's too much. It's your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. Oh wait, who's going to take it this time? Who's going to take it this time? It's just, there's no flow to that offense. It's the 2 guys, and especially in a game when they both go for 30, who's hot? Who takes the ball down the stretch? And that's the problem they have is closing out games. They could both have 30, but Durant doesn't have the personality to be like, yo, when Westbrook's off, give me the damn ball in the fourth quarter and let me go. Westbrook's always like, I have the ball in my hands. It's my time. I'm going. And if I kick it to you, you better shoot it. And there's just no chemistry. There's no game plan. It's just somebody go make a shot.
You don't even know when he's going to kick it to you. So you're not prepared.
If you see a lot of time, he ditches up like Kantar in the paint. Kantar's kind of got the oh shit face. And then he's like, throw that up.
But I did like that, though. Like, when we first watched that OKC game, the first one versus Golden State, the other one was, Saturday. You're right. That when they were, moving it around more, they were scoring. And I felt like, all right, this is how you guys should play. But then they got back to that ISO basketball. It's just okay. It's just Westbrook, and everyone's just kind of just standing there.
Well, it's almost hey, it's the first part of the game. Let's run through the game plan a little bit. Let's run some plays. Let's run some sets. Let's see what's going on. Let's see how the defense is moving. And then after that, after about a quarter, Westbrook gets sick of it, and he's like, I'm just gonna run pick and roll and do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And Billy Donovan's not the type of guy. This is his first year in the NBA. He's not the type of coach that can just tell Westbrook, "Hey, man, you can't do that." Westbrook's gonna say, "Really?" He's gonna go to the organization, and Billy Donovan will be out before he is.
So, where do you guys see Durant ending up?
I don't know. I've heard a lot of things.
Saying, the Warriors, I really don't see it.
I've heard that too, but I don't see
it. That's just I know the salary cap's going up, but somebody's gonna have to take a huge pay cut on that team for that to work.
Well, they wouldn't re-sign Barnes. They wouldn't have Iggy anymore.
But does that make them a better team? I don't think so.
You get more star power. You get less role player power. That's how it is. Trade 1 for 1, and also, let's be real.
Does Durant really want to take a backseat again?
No, Durant will not. No, that's what I'm saying. Durant's not going there. He wants to be the man, which is why
I think Washington's a good fit.
I think Washington's
back home.
Washington's the ideal fit. It's his hometown. John Wall's a pass-first point guard. Bradley Beal's a spot-up shooter. Gortat can bang low. You got the Morris brother. He's a stretch 4. He's solid. But there's I know no one's talked about this. I don't even know if they've shown interest in it. But I think Boston could swoop out of nowheres and offer Durant max money.
Oh, and any team.
They are coming up. Any team could, yeah. Any
team could offer max money. He's a player that any team would love to have.
But I'm saying what fit wise, I'm looking at the Boston roster. They could have a lineup where this is their starting 5. You have Isaiah, then Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder. You make Durant play the 4, and then you have Amir Johnson at the center and Jerry Sullinger. and you try and trade one of those assets now or you sign Horford as well. Maybe you try and sign Horford and Durant. I think if he wants to win and be the man of a team, Boston, the Wizards. I mean,
he's got to look at a young team that's already almost there. Just needs that guy to get him over the hump.
Because this is all title now. He's title hungry now. That's all.
Bradley Beal and John Wall are like good players, and they've been the guys there, but they're not like the superstar.
Right.
And they've been in the league long enough to know that they can't carry a team.
Right.
Durant's the guy that can come in there and give them a consistent 25, 30 points a night, take the pressure off those guys, and let them be more productive because the weight's not all on their shoulders.
And also what I think, too, is I think Durant, in a proper offensive system where the coach says you're not running isolations every other play, like we have actually set plays, I think we'll actually see a better version of Durant playing.
We've seen before when they run him off screens and they run plays for him, he's a great catch and shoot player. Mm-hmm. This isn't just a guy that takes you off the dribble. He's a mismatch no matter who's on him. So if he's on a bigger guy, you're not going to keep up with him running off screens. If it's a smaller guy, he's going to shoot over you. There's nothing you can do to stop him when he's on.
And I think that's why in a system like the Wizards, for example, he'd be so hard to stop because he could beat you in so many ways in that team. He could beat you in ISO. He could get an off-screen cut or I think Washington would be ideal, but
Washington is the ideal, I think, too. I just feel like if he has more people like around him that he can rely on besides just Westbrook, he'll just feel more comfortable and just go out and do his thing.
He just needs a team with, another like maybe all-star type player, but not a star, because Westbrook is just taking too much from him, and I think he just needs his own team. Is really what he needs. He needs his own team. He needs to be the man. He needs to go somewhere that's going to build the team around him and not have to worry about, we have this other superstar team that we got to make happy too.
Precisely. So, we're talking about players moving and possible new homes. So I guess we'll rotate into Joe Johnson and Ty Lawson. Johnson signed with Miami. Ty Lawson's expected to be signed this weekend by the Indiana Pacers. We're going to start off with the Big Shot Joe. He's looked good so far in Miami. That's been a fit without Bosh. They need a scorer. He's given them valuable minutes. He already has a couple double-digit games. It was good.
It's another guy to take some pressure off of Wade.
Yeah,
with his,
and they need scoring.
Yeah, they need scoring.
Definitely do.
And with Wade's knees, and is he going to be healthier? He's looked a lot better this year than he has the last couple years. He's played more minutes. His production's up a little bit, but he's going to need down the stretch here, especially when you're starting to get into playoff time, where you're playing 4 or 5 games in 6-7 days. He's going to need some time where he can't be all the pressure and all the minutes on him. So Joe's a nice fit in there to give them that extra scoring, that extra shooting guard, whatever takes the pressure off of Wade. Not so much pressure on Deng because he can play a 3 a little bit too. It takes pressure off everybody, and it gives them that scoring they're missing with Bosh out of the lineup.
Yeah, and hopefully Bosh can come back this season. We hope that'll make the team even a little better.
I doubt he comes back though. I don't think. I know that the higher ups in the Heat organization are pushing him to take it out. Yeah, not worth it. Not that kind of issue, like the heart. That's.
It's the effect of the Cavs, the Warriors, and the Spurs. It's kind of like unless you're one of those top 4 teams, nobody's really giving you a shot at winning the title. And I think a lot of the teams are seeing it themselves, like, hey, we don't have a shot here. So if we don't have a shot, there's no reason, like at the trade deadline, there's no reason to make a move for Bosh. There's no reason to rush you back. We'd rather have you for next season. Let's get the problem fixed. Let's get you right for next year. Then maybe we can make a push with the salary cap. And
that's the only issue though with Miami is they had a push last year. They got Dragic. That was supposed to be their push to the playoffs. Then they lose Bosh. So then Bosh, Wade get a year older. This year, they're the best defensive unit in the Eastern Conference. And then you have Bosh go down again. You're like, all right, let's wait till next year. Well, now next year you're going to have a year older Wade with knee issues, a year older Joe Johnson, who before 2 weeks before the All-Star break wasn't that effective this year. He really wasn't doing anything.
He was starting to look old.
Under 40%. And then you have him older, Bosch older, Dragic older. Dragic's not young, but he's not
pretty
old.
young. He's still in his 20s.
Is he really?
He's late 20s.
Late 20s?
He's got to be.
Yeah.
He's got to be like 20, 28. He came over.
I know he's not 30 yet.
But the one thing the Heat have going in their favor.
Wait. Dragic will be 30 next year.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
wow. But the one thing the Heat have going for them, though, is they're the Miami Heat. They're in Miami. They're down in South Beach. They're going to attract a lot of players to come there this offseason.
Yeah, LeBron James,
right? They got the nice weather. Pat Riley runs that organization great. Mickey Arison runs. They have a great run organization. It's one of the top run in the league. They've been competitive the last couple years. They got the nice weather. I think they could bring some people in. And if they can keep some of the pieces they have now around, it's a very attractive destination to bring some players. So I understand that they're getting a year older, but maybe if you just say Bosch, we have no shot this year. Just take it easy, get healthy. Let's try to bring some of the pieces back next year and maybe bring somebody in. Maybe not a max player, but let's bring a big free agent in here and let's see what we can do next year.
I like that idea. Okay. Joe Johnson can still play. He can still score out there. Let him do his thing for right now. I mean,
especially when you're looking now. I mean, Toronto's up there. They're getting better. The Cavs are there. But the Cavs aren't solid right now. I mean, and we're seeing all the rumors, who's going to go in the offseason, who's going to go. So next year this offseason might be the year to make the push and just, settle everything down and be like, let's wait till next year. We don't really have a shot. And let's get things fixed.
I mean, I do like the Joe Johnson move for at least now. I mean,
it's worth the shot. You have him for half a year. You don't have to pay him a full contract. Give him a tryout, see what happens, and if you like what he does and he likes being there, you can sign him for next year.
Right. So now, Ty Lawson. As you guys may have remembered, I believe last week on the show, somebody said Ty Lawson would be a pretty good fit in Indiana. I'm not sure who that fine gentleman was.
I don't remember who it was.
But I like it. I think Houston was just a bad fit.
Yes, sir.
They were just trying to get more names. They wanted more bigger names in Houston, so they thought maybe Lawson, Harden and Howard could be something. Obviously, it failed because he's averaging a career low in minutes and only like 5 points per game, which is horrid. But Indiana needs a ball handler. George Hill isn't a primary ball handler. I've said that for years. This year he's been effective because he's been an off-the-ball guard. He goes into the corners, he sets up, he's hitting career high in threes than he's ever hit in his career. And that's the kind of guy he is. He can drive to the hoop at times, but you want him on the corner shooting. Monte, he can drive, but Monte gets a bit.
He's not a point guard,
right? And he gets a bit erratic.
He's a 6'3".
Like Lawson can push the tempo, and I think Lawson will be coming off the bench to start, obviously. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw lineups where you had Monte coming off the bench, and you had Lawson, George Hill, Paul George, Miles Turner, and Muhimi running that first unit. So then Monte can be like, all right, second unit, I can take over with Rodney Stuckey.
He could be there, Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And I like how Rodney Stuckey is coming back too, so it just adds more talent.
Because Monte has been their primary ball handler this year, but he's not a pure point guard.
Right.
And the problem with him is he's a shooting guard, but he's only 6'3", so it's like, hey, go play point. And he's a guy that has the handles to bring the ball up and down the floor and be your primary ball handler, but he doesn't have the skill set of a true point guard. So you're kind of at a loss with him unless that's what other teams that have had him have had the problem with. They brought him in to be that type of guy, and he can't be the facilitator. Right. But he wants the ball in his hands.
It's okay. You can get away with it on the second unit. And actually, the second unit, you could actually see Joe Young play point. You could see Joe Young, Monte, Stuckey, and C.J. Miles because Miles has played
a lot of stretch four
minutes at the power forward this year. Then you have Jordan Hill. I don't know. I think it's a good move. I think Larry's been known for being Larry Bird, of course, has been known for his ability to help troubled players. Lance Stevenson is a prime example. I know he had a big night last night. 16 points, 8 for 11 shooting. I saw you.
You guys need him back. Get him back.
Always watching.
Get him back.
I think it's a good fit for Lawson. I think his team's. I mean, they're not going to do anything, but the future, I like where they're going.
Again, it's another move where you have nothing to lose. There's 20 games left. You come in. It's like a tryout. It's almost it's like a preseason for him.
Mm-hmm.
See what he can do with this team. See if he fits your system. If he doesn't, you weren't really going anywhere anyway. And if it works out, it's a little bonus. And maybe maybe you give him a contract in the offseason if he fits.
I mean, it's an above average defender.
It fits a need it fits their need. They needed a primary point guard. They needed a guy that actually can play point guard and be a NBA point guard. Mm-hmm. And Ty Lawson's that kind of guy. I mean, he ran the show in Denver for a number of years, no problem being the number one guy. He put up all-star numbers a couple years, didn't really get there because there's too many good guards in the West. But he's a guy that's capable of running a team.
All right. And
I still like him.
I just noticed what the thing is now, the share. It's the last 30 seconds of whatever we're talking about.
Really?
So I just posted Berger's last 30 seconds from like a while ago. It was him talking about Miami. So that's what now we can tweet 30-second glimpses into the podcast.
There it is. I like it.
All right. Moving on. So Joe, Ty, good fit so far. Well, projected fit so far. We'll see how it turns out. And last topic of the day, them Cleveland Cavaliers.
Them boys.
Kevin, you came in here looking all cavalier. Hawks and the Hornets.
He's throwing dimes, man. He's throwing dimes.
Where'd you get all the dimes from?
Yeah, those conversions are hilarious.
The Hoopers.
The Hoopers.
God, they're a wreck. I mean,
they're a wreck, but is it really that big of a surprise?
It is when you take out LeBron James and they get blown out by 25 against the Washington Wizards. And you go, Jesus, without LeBron, this team still is god-awful.
I understand the philosophy of bringing this team together. You bring 3 all-stars, you bring 3 stars in to be the catalyst, to be your big 3. Because it's worked in other places. It doesn't work if they're not the right fit for each other.
Well,
and that's the problem.
You know what the issue was? LeBron, he obviously loved Bosh. Bosh could stretch out and hit some threes, but he wasn't a solid rebounder.
No.
Got Kevin Love because he was like, Love can shoot threes more consistently. Love can grab a lot of boards. Love's an upgraded version of Bosh. And then he realizes, damn, Kevin Love doesn't know how to play defense. Kevin Love doesn't know how to do
Kevin Love kind of seems like a whiny bitch, to be honest. Like
I love the kid. He's still good.
he's still good, but it's just like, dude, grow the fuck up. Like, I don't care that you want to play at the elbow more. I don't care. Do you realize what kind of talent you have around you? If you just shut the fuck up for a year and like just suck it up and play like good basketball like you're capable of, you guys could win a championship. But no, you got to whine and say, I want to play here. I want to play there. Why don't you just shut up and shoot threes and rebound and you'll win games?
Oh my God.
Maybe play a little bit of defense.
Kill him. Kill him.
Does anybody remember how big this guy was when he came out of college?
Yes, he was disgusting.
He was a big dude, and he went in the paint, and he scored down low. That's what he did. He rebounded, and he scored down low. What does he do now? He dropped weight. He's like a twig now, and all he wants to do is sit in the perimeter and shoot threes. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't even rebound as hard anymore.
And he doesn't shoot very consistently anymore either. He's very.
It's the long hair, man. He needs to just get rid of the long hair.
He wants to be Jackie
Adams. Moon.
But if you look at the way this team was put together, it wasn't like Miami, where there was Wade there, And then it was free agency. And you bring Bosh, so then it's like, oh, Bosh is there, and then you bring LeBron in. It's like, oh, us three want to come together to form a union. These guys had – the only one that had any choice in this was LeBron. Kyrie signed a 5-year extension before LeBron got there. Kevin Love got traded. He really had no choice in this. So you force three guys together that really you're not sure if they even want to play together and expect them to go win you a championship.
The only thing I can say with that is LeBron made the wrong move saying, I want Love and not Wiggins.
Oh, agreed.
Talk about it every day. This team would have ran people off the court, man. Wiggins, can you imagine the dumbness that would have been going on in Cleveland between
the tempo would have been wild.
LeBron? And somebody told me, he was like, I don't believe LeBron would have let Andrew Wiggins develop. And I'm thinking in my head, like, Wiggins was projected to be just like LeBron. Like, obviously he's not, but I don't care who you are. If you're a young superstar and you're playing under a current superstar Hall of Famer, you're gonna learn. Like, you're gonna accept the role that I'm not as good as this guy is yet. Let me pick his brain and become better.
Well, I think the problem with that one is that, you know, Wiggins, the thing about LeBron is I don't think he wanted to come back to Cleveland for the long haul for the rest of his career. I think he felt guilty for leaving and going to Miami, and he wanted to bring the chip to Cleveland. So I think he wanted Kevin Love as an established player, an established guy that, you know, we've seen the production out of him. So maybe it's a 1-year thing, maybe a 2-year process. I bring the chip back, and then I go back to Miami. I go to LA. I go somewhere I want to be. Where the only reason I think he really came back to Cleveland is because he felt guilty for leaving in the first place and wants to bring him a championship.
100%. And I'm telling you right now.
So I don't think he wanted the project of have Wiggins having to try to develop Wiggins. I think he wanted an established guy to come in.
He wanted to come and just win one quick.
Yeah.
And which is why I think last year hurt. Actually, I think last year pissed him off more than anything. Because healthy, they would have beat the Warriors. And now the Warriors are so good. LeBron knows in his head he can't win. I'm sorry. LeBron's smart enough. He tweeted the other day, like, damn, Curry's shooting, hitting half-court shots to win games. Like, he knows in his head,
they can't beat him.
No.
I'm sorry. He may hate himself for saying that, but he knows that they can't beat them in a 7-game series now.
You look at one thing LeBron's teams have always had. Even if they haven't had the great offensive chemistry, they've never been great half-court teams. They've always been great in the open floor, but they've always played good defense. This team does not play good defense, and that's what's pissing LeBron off right now, is that none of these guys besides him play defense. And when you have LeBron James, who's a superstar, who's regarded as the best player in the world, and he's giving you 110% every time he's out there, even on the defensive end, and the guys behind him aren't giving him anything, that's going to piss you off. And, you know, when he's laying it out there, he's in his 30s now. He's got a lot of tread in those tires. And he's playing 36 minutes a game, giving everything he's got, and he's seeing guys behind him that are, you know, in their mid-20s not giving it the same effort. It's going to piss you off. And I think that's where LeBron's at right now, where he's just so frustrated with this team not giving the effort.
Watching some Cavs game this year, though, I think it's come to a point where some nights, like, they go out there, and even LeBron himself, none of them are dialed in defensively. Literally, every single person on that team is not dialed. And I got to be honest, that Tristan Thompson deal, goddamn, was that awful? Did they shoot themselves in the foot giving that guy $90 million?
That's what always happens. You give him the money, and then it's like, oh, well, I got paid, so I'm just
his worth was not as high.
Not yet. No, he just had a good playoffs. That's it. Like,
he got paid by playing in a system they're no longer playing in because of the injuries to Kyrie and Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson became the number 2 guy last year, and he was playing pick and roll. He was doing a lot of the dirty work, and it was working well for him. But now he's had to take a back seat again, and so it's kind of like you paid a guy $90 million to be like your 4th or 5th guy. And it's just not working because they're not running him in the same system they were last year when he was playing well. And that's the problem. The pieces on this team just don't fit together.
Right. I mean, he's averaging his field goal percentage is the highest it's ever been this year at 57%. But
Isn't he starting now too? He's starting now too over Mozgov. I'm pretty sure. Mozgov calls off the bench. So I mean,
because they want that first unit to run.
Yeah, defense has always been their problem. They've been saying that all year.
Having a down year. I mean, he's averaging 7.8 points per game and 9.4 rebounds. But it's the fact that you have so much money
invested in him,
and a guy who doesn't do that much. Like, you're telling me that Thompson's like that signing is the reason they're going to win a championship, or if they don't win a championship, like no. Bye, Leroy.
I don't think that's a sign that wins you a championship, but at the same time, it's a guy that when you were looking at the end of the season last year, because you didn't know if they were going to bring.
I know you had to keep him, but I just think the money was just so high.
And especially when LeBron is saying, "I need this guy back. Like
right.
I need him. I need you guys to bring him back." And like, when LeBron says that, you're obviously going to bring him back. But does he give you the work that somebody else does because he can't make anything besides dunks and layups? Not really. Shoots a terrible free throw percentage, but he rebounds and plays defense.
Leroy lagged out, so I guess we'll just give him a couple seconds. We'll switch gears. I'm going to hold off on the last. We'll talk when we're going to talk about LeBron. I'll wait till he gets back in here. Want his opinion. So we'll just go them Knicks. We'll talk about the Knicks a little bit.
Talk about my terrible Knicks.
Our terrible Knicks. I watched the Knicks. Don't worry. I covered that entire division: Knicks, Celtics, Sixers, Nets, Raptors. I'm used to a lot of losing.
I just don't understand what they're doing. I honestly have no idea what they're doing.
I mean, we called it, the Jimmer. We called that was just for publicity.
Just for publicity, just for show,
Yeah, that was what that was.
It shows, as much as I did not like Derek Fisher, firing him's not making him any better. It's making him worse, actually.
And Kurt Rambis.
Rambis has no idea what he's doing.
And I find it funny. He goes, our goal is to make the playoffs, and he kind of made another promise about the playoffs. This Knicks team in their playoffs,
they've lost 18 of their last 22 games.
They have one of their last 21 games. Their wins are equal to the Lakers, 76ers, and Nets and all that.
They were 22-22. They lost to the Nets, and then they've just gone downhill. And they've lost 18 of the last 20 games. They're on another losing streak. And again, you're thinking, okay, now at this point, the season's a wash. You're not making the playoffs. It's completely obvious you're not going anywhere. Now let's develop guys. Let's give Grant some minutes. Let's see what he can do. Oh, hey, we brought Jimmer up for a 10-day contract. How about we just give him some play because he can't be any worse defensively than Calderon, and he's probably going to be a bonus on the offensive end, but no, we're not going to give him minutes. They bring up Antetokounmpo a couple weeks ago. Now we're not going to play him either. We're just going to send him back down to the D-League. It's what is the organization trying to do? I just don't understand what they're doing.
And now the issue is you're making that locker room isn't happy right now. That's not a happy place to be.
No.
Remember earlier in the season, the Knicks looked like they were having fun. That fun's gone. That's
the big thing. Early in the year, they were having fun. They were moving the ball. They were playing together. The second unit was picking up, and now just when you watch their faces, it's just almost they have that look on their face like, how's it going to go wrong tonight? How's it going to go? They're playing to not make mistakes instead of going to win. And if they're just waiting to see who's going to make the mistake or how they're going to lose this game. And the last couple of games, they're not even competitive when they lose anymore. At least early in the season, they were forcing things down to the wire. They're going into overtime. Now it's just they're getting blown out by 15, 20 points on a nightly basis. And the defense is a big problem again. The defense was good early in the season, and it's terrible again. And,
that's what hurts Melo the most is that they're not even competitive now. And they're just going out there and getting worked by 20 points a night.
This is almost worse than last year. At least last year we knew we were terrible right out the gate. You lose, Melo goes down. You're terrible right off the gate. This year you're competitive. The fans were optimistic. You're 22-22. You might be in a playoff spot, and then you're just going to put out this effort after that, and it's just disappointing, And you're playing in New York at Madison Square Garden. You're paying $200, $300 for a nosebleed seat to watch this team get blown out by 20 points. it's just unacceptable to see this team get put out there like that.
I think what hurts also is, the other night Melo, he's kicking himself in the ass. He's pissed that he stayed now. His quote was, I look around the league and I see my peers prospering, and I'm thinking,
what am I doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong? And man, if that isn't a motto for the Knicks, then I don't know what is. That quote sums up New York.
That quote sums up New York, but I also love what he said to the fan that was heckling him the other night.
Yeah, I like what he said to the fan, but then he had to go out and apologize for it.
What did he say to the fan?
But then what happened was the fan was heckling him, being like, "You guys are terrible. I'm never coming to another game. I can't believe I paid to come see this." And Melo looked at the fan and goes, "Hey, the owner's sitting a couple seats away from you. Why don't you go ask him for your money back?" So, but
I like that.
But then he came out and apologized the next day and said, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." And then the day after that, he came out and said, "I really didn't want to apologize. I felt like I did nothing wrong, but Mr. Dolan made me come out to publicly and apologize." But Melo basically knows the organization's not doing much to put the talent around him. No. They're not bringing in a good enough head coach to help develop some of the younger players and put a scheme together that'll help them win.
Because they're trying to do the damn triangle, but Phil doesn't want to teach the triangle himself.
I mean, when you got guys like Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Tom Thibodeau out there that want to come back and coach, and you're gonna hire Derek Fisher and then fire him and bring in Kurt Rambis, and now you're talking about
head coach too.
And now you're talking about bringing in Brian Shaw or Luke Walton because you want your guys to run the triangle again. There's a reason 29 other teams in the league don't run that offense because it doesn't work. If you don't have Kobe or Michael Jordan, it doesn't work. It's the bottom line.
Built on it. Well, I mean, yeah, because they both play defense. Melo doesn't play that kind of defense, so it wouldn't work. But
he can when he turns it up. He just doesn't turn it up all the time.
Dude, it's so many times we've talked about players that I don't know. We was like the Knicks should get this person. The Knicks should definitely get this person. They need this person, and then they never get anybody. They always just get people no one really wants right now.
Because Phil looks at people and how they fit into the triangle, and he's like, "Oh, they can't play in the triangle. They can't fit in the triangle."
Well,
so they didn't go out to Ty Lawson.
I think another problem is I don't think Melo was or maybe is a great recruiter of talent to come play with him. I don't think people want to, but I also think this year's helping for the salary cap. Melo's had the best all-around year of his career. He's passing the ball. He's averaging more assists than he ever has. He's moving the ball. He's playing more in a system. He's not taking as many shots a game. He's been a little more efficient. You're not seeing really peaks and valleys with him this year. You're seeing much more consistent. Mm-hmm. So I think he's almost at the point where he's ready to take maybe not a backseat, but he's ready to take a step aside and let somebody else come in. Maybe a Durant, maybe Westbrook, maybe somebody to come in and help him carry the load and to not put as much pressure on him. Because he's also had his fair share of injury and problems and being worn down with his knees and stuff. So he's had to carry this Knicks team on his back since he's got here.
It's true.
Durant. There is still some hope Durant goes to NYC
and Westbrook too.
But yeah, I think Westbrook's more realistic, I should say. I don't think Durant wants to go to the city. He hates the media, and the media pressure in New York would eat him alive.
Who does it? Who likes the New York media? Come on.
Westbrook would love it.
I love New York media.
If you do one thing bad, the media hates you forever until you do good again.
Yeah, but I think that's the type of environment Westbrook wants. He wants to be a star. He wants to be the man of the hour. He wants to be that guy.
Why he won't end up in Los Angeles because D'Angelo Russell has been playing extremely well. And
that game he had the other night?
The ice in my veins. Ice in my veins.
He was taking some deep threes too.
He was good. And so I think that closes the door for Westbrook, but that opens the door for the Knicks and Westbrook. I think it's possible he goes to New York. He wants to play in that big spotlight. He wants that.
The only thing
if he gives those shots,
are we going to have a Melo Westbrook tug, kind of like you have a Durant Westbrook tug? But I think
think about it. It won't be. It wouldn't be to the end of next year.
Yeah, but I think Westbrook's kind of too passive to like get in like Westbrook's face and be like, dude, like pass the ball. I think Melo will get in his face and be like, dude, if you don't give me the fucking ball, I'm gonna come take it from you.
But also, you got to think about this. He's not free until the end of next year. Carmelo will be 33, 34. So he'll be more of into a passive. You know what I'm saying? He'll be in a second tier level scorer on the team.
He almost at this point in his career he almost is, because you're seeing he's slowing down. Yeah, I mean, just he wasn't always a high flyer and a guy that could dunk, but on a dead ball when you get stuffed by the rim that bad the other night, your legs going, man. You're getting old. You can't get up there.
That was funny. I had to lay on the ground.
I mean, when Vince is still catching reverse alley oops at 39, and like you're 32 and you can't even get the ball over the rim.
I saw something that was like when the old man at the barbecue says, "Let me dunk this," and man, too soon.
Too soon. Don't do him like that.
John Wall expressed interest in playing in New York. It's a comment from SWR Big E.
That's it. I like that move too. If they want to bring him in, he's not a guy. I don't think you give max money to, but he's an actual point guard. He plays defense.
Yeah, he deserves. If you watch him play, he's
getting better.
Isaiah Thomas.
He might deserve max money. I don't know, but
not many people know this. But at the All-Star game, Isaiah Thomas saw John Wall, and he pulled him aside because, as you guys know, Wall wasn't an All-Star this year. And him and Wall had a private conversation for like an hour, and pretty much Isaiah told him that you need to become. Pretty much, like, not an assassin, but he was like, "You need to take control." He goes, "You have to make it known that, like, play with that chip on your shoulder, play smart. Don't just drive to the hoop. Shoot." And if you watch it, Wall can shoot threes now.
Yeah,
Wall's game has
his touch has gotten much better. I think another thing, he's another one of those guys. Shot selection is a big thing with him because he hasn't always been the greatest shooter. But if you leave a guy open that's in the NBA, he's going to make shots. So you just have to take the right shots at the right time. I think Wall's the guy that wanted to prove so bad to people coming out of college that I can shoot, because that was the big thing on him, that he just took too many jumpers. And now that he's gotten a little better at it, he's taking smarter shots, he's getting better looks, and he's starting to make some of those shots that he wasn't making early on in his career.
And he gets rebounds too. He's become he's got a couple triple doubles under his belt.
You also got to remember this: he's not your average point guard. He's 6'5".
Right.
He's and he's quick. He's quick as fuck too.
He's lightning quick. He's one of the fastest guys in the league.
SWR Big E also added, Wall could attract Durant to the Knicks if they move Anthony. That actually, in my opinion, we talked about this a little bit earlier, Big E. I don't know if you were in here. Durant's more likely to go to Washington ever before he goes to New York. And if Wall knows that, Wall would rather stay in Washington to get Durant to go to Washington than to go to the Knicks. Because Washington has way better pieces already in place than the Knicks. They're kind of a Durant away. And Durant's from Washington, so it kind of gives the trick. To the Knicks try to move Melo to LA for maybe Blake Griffin?
No.
I don't think Blake's a guy that you want to move for. He's not a guy that's going to get his own shot often enough and be the leader of that team and carry the team on his back like Melo has.
You would still need a point guard.
You still need to bring somebody else in. Now
they need to fix a point guard.
Now maybe that helps attract a pick and roll point guard.
Because then you have Porzingis play the center at 7'3", and you have Blake Griffin at the 4. But then Porzingis is more of a 4 than a 5.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
That would become an issue. But
it would be an issue.
But again, some of these moves, like it's do you move Melo? Do you not move Melo? It just at first when you move him, you're going to be taking a step back. Now in 2 or 3 years, that might help you go forward. But at the moment, if they dumped him for somebody, it'd be taking a step back. I mean, it also depends on who it is, but.
And also, I don't know if Knicks fans will be able to wait that long. You guys are already getting pretty.
They've waited long enough.
But how do we feel about no trade clauses? They're in a contract. You don't have to offer them. That's how I see it. It's not like a player just gets them. You have to. If a team is willing to give you a no trade clause, that's on the team.
It's also not in every contract. It's only like the higher profile players that have them,
right?
Because they just don't want to be dumped to a terrible team all of a sudden midway through a season and have to go through a rebuilding process. That's
kind of what you got to live with. That's just one of the things.
It's kind of like the guys that have them in their contract earned them, and that's why they're there.
Yeah.
It's
not like he couldn't waive it. If he wanted to leave, he could waive that no trade clause.
Yeah.
And I don't have an issue with it. It's more of a respect to the player, to be honest. It's kind of like, you've been a superstar, you're an elite player. We'll give you this, so at least if you want to get traded, you can feel comfortable about where you're going.
Well, especially in Melo's case, you have a lot of respect for it because he doesn't want to leave New York. He wanted to come here. He's here. He wants to stick it out. He wants to turn the franchise around. He wants to win. So you almost have respect for him that he could have gone. Apparently, he could have gone and joined the Cavs and probably maybe helped win a championship this year. Maybe get some
Celtics apparently had
Knicks. But he wants to stay with this team. He wants to help rebuild it. He wants to help bring the Mecca of basketball back into the limelight. But at the same time, it's just a team's gonna have to give up a lot to get like a Melo. And especially in the Knicks case, like you're going to have to get enough back where you feel comfortable that it's not going to be too long turnaround. Like you're not just going to take draft picks. You're going to need draft picks and established players to bring somebody back.
They do need some draft picks.
We don't have one this year, so it's just going to be another. Next year's just going to be another wash. I mean,
they need some draft picks.
But so we're going to now go to our closing topic. LeBron James. LeBron James this week went to Miami for his 2-day off day. I
have no problem.
Whatever it is, 2 days off. That's probably how you.
No issues. Why is this even a topic? It's not even an issue.
We hung out with Dwayne Wade trainers. They trained down there, and now
not even an issue.
A slight panic button.
No.
Is LeBron, and he had some cryptic tweets over as well. Is LeBron giving hints that he's going to leave again?
No. No.
Realistically, I want to say no. He's not leaving Cleveland again. But then,
come on, bro.
The competitor in me goes, my chance of winning and my happiness could be higher in Miami. He's not going to leave. There's no way.
Think about it.
Because he would stop in the plane going down.
I mean, look at it this way. You got a couple of days off and you want to go somewhere. You live in Cleveland, Ohio. It's like 26 degrees out right now. You really want to go do something there? Or are you going to go to Miami where it's 80 degrees out and you can go have a little bit of fun? Go hang out with one of your best friends.
Exactly. It's his lifelong friend.
The biggest part. I'm just blowing it up more. It's really not a big deal.
He's one of his best friends. They share the same trainer. That's another thing. It wasn't like he just went. He wasn't like he was training with random people.
Yeah.
Wade is one of his best friends. He trains with them every offseason, and they shared the same trainer who was in Miami in the training session with them.
And it wasn't like they were just hanging out. They went to train.
But now the thing is, why wouldn't he go train with Kevin Love or Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, why are you trading with a rival teammate now during
That's his lifelong friend.
Because
I don't care what team he's on.
He trains with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving every fucking day for an 82-game season.
Exactly.
He's sick of
why you trading with him? If my best friend lives somewhere in the state, we're both in the NBA, and I have some time off, I'm going to train with him too.
Yeah, if your best friend's on your team, you're going to stay in Cleveland and train with him. But if he lives in Miami,
I'm still going to fly to wherever Leroy is and work and train and work out with him.
Exactly. I mean, he works out with Norris Cole all through the summer as well, but no one says anything. I don't understand.
Take the other tweet though. He goes, they were like, "Oh, well, why'd you go to Miami?" He's like, "Well, I really wanted to go to LA to be completely honest with you, but I took a 2.5-hour flight over a 4.5-hour flight." So,
yeah,
I mean.
He wanted
a vacation. He wanted to get away from where it's 26 degrees every day. He wanted to go somewhere warm for a couple of days. I don't blame him. If I could leave New York right now and go to Miami for 2 days, I would.
Hell yeah.
I'm cold. I got a long sleeve. You guys both got tank top.
I'm a little
Yo,
chilly.
my heat's cranked up at like 75 right now. I'm straight.
I'm chilling.
You guys
Heat
see
and hot
about
water
Ben,
included in my rent, so we're good.
Ben Simmons can't win the Hard Wooden Award or whatever, the Wooden Award, because of academic reasons. Oh man.
Come on, bro. We already know most of these dudes in college basketball don't go there for grades. They just go there and they're gone.
That's a shame.
Especially the guys that only play for that 1 year, because
A lot of those dudes just be like, "Oh, well, I have a seat."
You got to do well. You got to do well your first semester to stay academically eligible. Your second semester, you start off the beginning of the semester hot, and you can just slack your ass off after the tournament and not even show up to class anymore because you're going to the NBA.
And a lot of them just have tutors that just push them along.
A lot of them are on full ride scholarships too, where they don't owe the school any money.
Exactly. This has been known.
I know. I'm just saying. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Center Court. We will be back here next week at 11:30 a.m. for episode 6. This video will be on YouTube later this evening or early tomorrow morning. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Leroy, Berger, pleasure as always. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekends.
Go Duke.
You too.